Hey everyone, and welcome to yet another day of social studies. Today we're going to begin learning about what the Discovery Corps, or the Corps of Discovery, pardon me, will be doing on the expedition of Lewis and Clark. Alright, let's go ahead and get started. For your notebook today, we don't have any vocabulary today. Our learning target. You are going to create an expedition diary. You're going to create an expedition diary with a map to detail the journey of the Corps of Discovery in order to reflect on its importance to the United States. Okay, so we're going to be kind of looking at all of this, and it's all going to be so that at the end of this we can reflect and try to determine how important do you think this expedition by Lewis and Clark across this new Louisiana territory will end up being for the United States. Okay, you're in. Okay, if you could go on an exploration anywhere, where would you go? Okay, why? And then explain to me what specifically would you want to learn more about or discover about that place. Okay, your date today is December 10th, and our essential questions are the three that we've been using for this unit so far. Go ahead, pause this video, take about 5 minutes, fill out your notebook, and come back when you're done. All right, welcome back. You should be finished with your notebook now. Let's go ahead and move on. All right, so now we're going to kind of jump into an overview of the journey. It's just some pretty straightforward notes, just kind of give you some background before we dive into the interactive diary today. So we have some goals of the expedition. Okay, they're pretty straightforward. Explore this new territory, establish trade with the Native Americans there, affirm the sovereignty of the United States. Basically, explain to the Native Americans that America technically now owns this land. And then, if possible, find a Northwest Passage. We haven't talked too much about that. That was one of the reasons Europeans started coming to North America, but the goal was to find a water shipping route from the Atlantic Ocean to the Pacific Ocean through North America, which, by the way, they never really did find. All right. Before the expedition could begin, there's much preparation. Okay, you guys can read through that, write this in your notebook. And their journey begins by traveling up the Missouri River on May 14th, 1804. Okay? And then they encounter some Native Americans. You guys can read about that. Kind of continuing this overview of their journey. Okay? During the winters, they actually built forts and lived in these forts. This is in the winter of 1804 through 1805, that November through about April part. And same with 1805 through 1806, okay, November through about April-ish. First one was Fort Mandan, that was on the Missouri River in 1804, and then Fort Clatsop, that was built in November of 1805 along the Pacific Ocean. Okay, so they actually ended up making it all the way to the Pacific Ocean. This is some of their results, their journey. I don't want to spoil all that. I'll let you read through that while you're writing it down in your notes. Okay. All right. Then we have some map analysis for you guys. There's two maps here that you can reference. Okay. Let me move my face over to the Spanish territory here because you don't really need to see the Spanish territory. All right. So your questions. First, why do you guys think Lewis and Clark took the route they did? Okay. So here's the route that they take. You guys can kind of see it here. All right. You can also use the physical map, which is the features of the land. Hi, Roman. My cat apparently wants to also help teach today. Okay? To help you figure that out. Number two, why do you think the journey took 2 years? So think back on the notes. There's some reasons in there why it probably took 2 years. As well as look at the physical features of the land. What would maybe make this journey a little more difficult? Okay? And lastly, why would the Corps continue all the way to the Pacific Ocean outside of the Louisiana Territory? Okay, so if we look here, the Louisiana Territory kind of stops right here up where this pinkish purplish, I guess you could call it, kind of stops. But they continue all the way over here. Why do you think they're doing that? Okay, make a prediction. All right. Sorry, let me go back. Maybe. There you go. Pause the video, go ahead and answer these questions in your notebook. Yes, please do that. When you are finished, you can resume this video. All right, welcome back. Let's go ahead and continue on. All right, remembering the journey. Okay, so now you're going to pretend like you were a member of the Corps of Discovery and you feel like reminiscing or remembering old times. Okay, you open up an old log of the journey and reread about your experiences. So you guys are going to open up here. It's kind of a brief timeline overview of everything that happened on the journey. It's only 2 pages. I promise it's not super long. Okay, you can either open it up in the slides here or it is attached in today's Google Classroom. You do need to read this because it's going to be necessary in helping you complete the activity and assignment today. So I'm just going to click up on the link and open it up here. Okay, so you have all these events beginning in 1803, 1804, 1805, and ending in 1806. Okay, so just read through them. They go left to right, I believe. No, sorry, they go down on the left column and then over to the right column. Okay, so you'd start here in January 18, read April through May, July 4th, then go to July 6th, and so on. Do that for each year. Okay? Now, once you finish reminiscing about the old times and remembering everything that you experienced while you're on the journey, you can go ahead, go back into the slides, and now you're going to move on to the activity for today. All right. Okay, so in a second, we're going to open up the other PDF called the Lewis and Clark Interactive Expedition. It should say diary at the end of that. Let me change that real quick. It's making this very difficult. There you go. Okay. We'll open that in Cami. Okay, it is attached in today's Google Classroom. We'll look at it in just a second. Now, listen real closely so that you understand this. This assignment will not be finished today. Okay. By this point, you're actually probably getting pretty close to the end of class, if not the end of class, which is totally fine. Okay, because it means you did a good job on the notes and you did a good job on the map analysis and a good job on the reading. Okay, so what you should do now, if you still have a little time, you should probably finish about I'm going to just say 2 of the first diary entries. Okay, and you'll understand what that means once we look at the assignment. Okay, you will have all of class tomorrow to end up finishing this assignment. All right? Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at it. We're going to jump back over into Google Classroom. And we're going to go ahead and open up this PDF here. You can tell it's the correct one because it says Lewis and Clark, and it's at the beginning of Interactive. And if you sit on it, Interactive Expedition Diary, it's also probably got your name attached to it. So it'll be up in that top right corner of the assignment. All right, and then we're going to click Open Annotate with Cami. Give it a second to open here. I'll move my face out of the way. All right, so we'll read over the directions. Okay, welcome home. Apparently not. There you go. Welcome home. It is 1806, and you have just returned home after being one of the 33, that should say plus. There were a few more than 33. Whatever. 33 members of the Corps of Discovery to explore the Louisiana Territory purchased by the United States under President Jefferson. Okay, so you were a member. Okay, use your imagination. You just learned about the events. Now you're going to start creating your diary entries. Okay, so you were a member on that journey, and you've just arrived home. Okay, as part of the Corps, you must complete an expedition diary along with the accompanying map to the U.S. government to help it better understand the new land it has purchased. Okay, so you went on this expedition. You have now returned. It is your job, so that you can get paid for being on this expedition, that you complete some diary entries, okay, about the things that you experienced and saw. And you're also going to help create a map of your journey to let the United States government know all the things you have learned about this amazing new land you just got to explore over the last 2 years. Okay, so your diary must include the following. Check off each item below as you work. Okay, you will have to have 12 total experiences from the journey. It'll make sense when we look at it in just a second. Okay, you're going to pick 3 events from each year using that that timeline we just opened. So if we open it up, okay, you need 12 total events, so you'll need 3 from 1803, 3 of them from 1804, 3 of them from 1805, and 3 of them from 1806. Now, 1803, we'll talk about in just a minute, but you can be thinking about, you maybe weren't a part of these events because this is not the beginning of the expedition per se until about October and December. But you can reflect on how the things that Lewis or Clark did before you joined were really helpful. Okay, and we'll kind of see that in the example here in just a minute. Okay, going back to the document. For each experience, okay, it must have the following details. You need to name the event. So if you guys look at this timeline again, these events are not named. Come up with one. It's all right. Have fun as long as it's relevant and school appropriate. I don't really care what it is. Okay, just name it. Put the date. Put the location of where that event took place. That's going to be really key that you have the location. Going to add a brief description. I'll give you a hint. Okay, you can copy and paste part of these right here. These are just descriptions. Summarize them. All right, and you're going to write a personal reflection, which I'll explain what that looks like in a second. Okay, so once again, that description's a brief overview of what happened. And that personal reflection, okay, how do you feel about that event or that experience? Okay, pretend you were there. All right, if you cross the Rocky Mountains and you're one of the first white people to ever see the Rocky Mountains, what did that feel like? How was that? Okay, tell me about that experience. All right. The detailed map, which we will probably start tomorrow, so you don't need to worry about that today. We'll go over that tomorrow. All right. So to do your diary entries, okay, you're going to use the select tool here in Kami to click in the text boxes and add information to each of the events in your expedition journal. That should say diary. I apologize. All right. So you're going to click the select tool up here. Make sure that's highlighted. Once you do that, I'm hoping you are able to go ahead and click in the boxes I've created for you. If you're unable to click in the boxes, then you can use the text box option. You'll be able to just add a text box next to everything. Okay, so you'll name your event. So I already did an example one for you. Okay, so I picked, I believe it's, if we look at the timeline, it's this one right here, the April through May 1803. Okay, so what happened? Well, Mary Laura Lewis goes to school, basically. Okay, so that's what I named it. Okay, I named the event after I read and learned about it. The date was April through May of 1803. The location, he did this in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. That's what the PA stands for. Short description, several of the nation's top scientists teach Lewis about several subjects so he can, let me fix that, subjects. There we go. So he can take scientific observations during his expedition. Okay, so he learned lots of things so he can better observe what he is seeing and record it into a diary while he's out there exploring. All right, our reflection. So this is where I'm going to pretend. Okay, I'm going to pretend I'm Lewis here, see what I've learned. Okay, I'm going to reflect on that event. It was so cool to learn about the different types of animal and plant species. I feel much more confident embarking to this new land. I'm able to identify edible and poisonous plants now. Additionally, I now know how to take detailed scientific observations, so when I return, I'll be able to properly inform the government on all things I discovered. Okay, so I pretended I was Lewis, I pretended I was on this expedition, and I talk about how it was awesome to learn from these scientists and all the ways it helped me. Okay, that's what you guys need to do. So you guys can go ahead and try to finish up the year of 1803 for class today. Once you are done with that, you can go ahead and do the out for today. If you get a little ahead and you have more time, you can add more events. Let's take a look at that out because there's some new instructions with that, and then it'll be all for today. All right, so you have a question like normal. However, we're going to start answering them in a new way. Okay, I have a Google form. It just helps me see what you guys are answering for your outs each day. Okay, so our question is, what are diaries why are diaries or journals such important historical documents? Okay, several of the people on this trip created diaries just like you did. Why is that an important historical document? How would that help us learn about the past? Okay, now, As it says here, you're going to answer the out in the new daily out Google form. Okay, let's take a look at where to find that. You're going to go into Google Classroom. I'm not going to attach that in each day since we're going to use it every day. Okay, so you're just going to come up here to the general class resources, click on daily out form. I'll go ahead and open it up. Put your first name, last name, which quarter you're in. Okay, and then you will answer the question, the out question found in today's assignment. Okay, once again, that question, if we want to check, we'll go back. Why are diaries or journals such important historical documents? Go ahead and answer the question. Click submit. And then you are done with class today. All right. As always, let me know, or Mr. Hallwegner know, if you guys have any questions. Mr. Hallwegner's class, I don't know if he'll be using this form, so reach out to him. Otherwise, have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you tomorrow.